Little Pilgrim's Progress, Part 2, Chapter 58, Great Heart. In the morning, the little pilgrims were awakened by the light of the rising sun. They all got up quickly and dressed themselves, for they felt eager to continue their journey. But when they came downstairs, the interpreter called them to him and said, "These clothes that you are wearing will not do to travel in. We must give you some new ones out of the king's treasury." Christiana blushed. "I am so sorry," she said. "I washed and mended them as well as I could, but I know they are not nice." "You did your best," replied the interpreter kindly, "but even if they were quite new and clean, they would not be fit for you now. The king's pilgrims cannot wear garments that have been made in the cities of the wicked prince. Our good prince has provided white robes for all of his children, and the king will not receive you in any others." While little Christian was traveling to the celestial city, you remember how the shining ones had met him at the cross and clothed him in white. Christiana, Mercy, the boys, and even little innocents now received garments that were just as spotless and beautiful as Christian's. And when they looked at each other, the children were almost frightened. If the journey was long and difficult, how could they possibly keep such robes clean until they reached the gates of the city? James and Joseph stood quite still, gazing down at their snowy suits. "We can never play any more," they said. The interpreter smiled and drew the little boys nearer to him. "Do not be afraid," said he. "The king loves to see his children merry and happy. Your clothes will not be harmed unless you quarrel or play in a naughty way. You may run about as much as you like, if you do not leave the way of the king." Christiana and Mercy were looking at each other with tears in their eyes. "The king is very good," said Christiana, but Mercy could not speak. All this time she had been afraid, because she had entered the narrow gate without receiving a message from the king. But now that she was clothed in garments from his own treasury, she felt that she was a true pilgrim, and she was ready to cry for joy. When they were all prepared to leave the house, the interpreter called one of his servants whose name was Greatheart, and said to him, "You must go with these children to the Palace Beautiful, and take care that none of the king's enemies come near to, hurt, or frighten them on the way." Greatheart was a tall, pleasant-looking young badger, not much older than Christiana, but he wore a suit of bright armor, and he carried a sword at his side, so that the children felt sure he would be able to protect them if they met with any danger. Innocence stretched out her tiny arms when she saw his brave, kind face. He took the little girl from Christiana, saying, "Let me carry her for a little way, and then she can run upon the grass until she is tired." The interpreter and his children came to the door and watched the little party set off, Greatheart carrying Innocence, while James and Joseph walked gravely hand in hand beside him. Then came Christiana and Mercy, and last of all Matthew, whose head was aching, though he did not choose to say anything about it. The fruit that he had eaten the day before was poisonous and had done him no good, but the foolish rabbit was ashamed to own how ill he felt, so he walked on behind Christiana and hoped that the Palace Beautiful was not far away.